What's going on, everybody? Chris here from the Modern Rebels podcast. Just wanted to take a listen before we or talk to you about some things before we start the episode. Um, are no sponsors, so this episode is brought to you by nothing but Drink Liquid Death because I love it and it's good for the soul and it's awesome. And also, the shirt that I'm wearing, you can see this Texas kick-ass motorcycle rider riding through a back road street in Texas. This was done hand-drawn by a good friend of mine. You can find him on Instagram under Easy Wheelin'. So Mr. Easy has done the album artwork for several of Cody Jinks records, for Ward Davis and a bunch of other for Whitey Morgan. And I get them confused sometimes. But he's done a lot of great artwork. You can go to his Instagram page and you can check out his entire profile catalog. He did the artwork for my album, Modern Rebel. So you can check that out and check him out. And I'm just giving him a shout out. He didn't tell me to do this, and I didn't tell him that I was going to do this, but I just realized I was wearing the shirt, and so I wanted you guys to get at him, man. He sells his prints and he sells his merch and T-shirts, and it's all hand drawn. And I've seen his process and it takes forever. So, Mr. Easy Wheelin', EZ, letter E, letter Z, WHEELIN on Instagram, and also check out my latest album, Modern Rebel, on Spotify, Apple Music, and all that good stuff. The band we're talking to today is Dyquil. So pretty much some of the members from the band Dyquil back in the day and some of the members from the band Cold back in the day. So it's going to be an interesting one. So you guys stick around, check it out, and it's going to be awesome. Hell yeah. We'll see you very soon. Hope that's not too loud. All right. Now we're doing this right the second time. Another episode of the Modern Rebels podcast. We're here with the guys from Dyquil. Okay, so we had technical difficulties. This is the second time we started, but it's okay. So where are you guys from? I guess, well, I know it's kind of all over the place, but I guess more originally, I guess, where's the band based out of right now?
Yeah. So, like you said, we're from everywhere. But I guess we'll call Kelly headquarters. He's in Arkansas.
Okay.
But we're from, I don't even know. Jesse, are you in Wisconsin? Is that right?
Yeah, I live in northern Wisconsin. I'm from Florida. That's how I met Kelly, Florida. But yeah, I live up here now. So hi, Joseph.
We're here with Mr. Jesse Rush, Jacob Porter, and Joseph Smart. So over this Zoom call, what's going on?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good, man.
Okay.
Cool. So how long has this I guess inception been a thing so far with you guys? Is it like several lineup changes, or is this like a thing that just kind of started all together?
I think it kind of started with more Kelly and Jacob for a while now. Like, I don't know exact dates, but it's been a minute.
Year and a half-ish. Yeah.
And a half-ish.
And then I just got back in touch with Kelly about 7 months ago or something.
Yeah.
After not, I just lost touch with him for a few years, and he started sending me music, and I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm all over it,
Sweet, man. I heard some of the stuff that you sent me, Jesse. The shit is really cool, man. It's kick ass. It's something that not a lot of people are doing anymore. That style of, like, I don't even know where to put it. Just kind of those early days of the 2000s, but it's got a modern kind of feel to it, which I love. All that shit from the 90s and and on until it started getting a little more overproduced and everything that they did, at a certain point. But yeah, man, the stuff that I've heard from what you sent me so far is really cool. And you guys are working on a new EP right now. Is that right?
Yeah, we're doing like everything at once, kind of. We've got an EP that's coming out the 16th, 3 songs. Then we're gonna extend that to 5, I think is the plan right now, sometime near the end of the year. And then we're also working on a full length as we're doing all this. So we're going to use a few of those songs and put them into the full length.
Cool.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool so far. I was working on one as we were waiting to get this thing going. So we've got some, and I think it's going to be a cool one. So I think we've got some cool songs coming.
What? Okay, so I know. So all this stems from, well, not stems from, I don't want to say that, but there's the connection with the band Cold from back in the day, which they're still doing things. So who was all in that band prior? So I know Kelly Hayes was in there, which he's not here today. Or I guess not yet.
So I think it's just so I think the story is Kelly. When Kelly dropped, I don't know a prettier way to say it. When he dropped out of Cold back in the early mid 2000s, he started up another band called Allele, and then Jesse ended up joining Allele at some point with Kelly.
Okay.
And then they kind of went their separate ways. Kelly quit music for a while.
So did I.
Kind of
Yeah.
He had some kind of like spiritual awakening thing. And my understanding from both Jesse and Kelly is that it happened like on stage. He said like, this lifestyle is not for me anymore, you know. And he essentially changed his life totally.
Yeah, it happened right next to me.
Yeah.
On stage.
Really?
Yeah, we were at the Freebird Live in Jacksonville, Florida, like Leonard Skinner's bar, and I think it was like a battle of the bands to play "Welcome to Rockville."
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then once Kelly got his wife Jessica gave him a guitar. Like I think he hadn't played for like, am I right when I say like 7 years ish, something
That's
like
what
that?
He told me. 7 years.
And then he started. He just started writing some instrumental stuff, and he wasn't really looking to get a project going or anything like that. He just wanted to put out some, maybe do some solo stuff or whatever. And I saw on social media that he was going to do like, he wanted a bunch of different vocalists, like one for every song or something like that. And I was a huge Cold fan.
Yeah.
And still am. Like, I'll be seeing him in a couple weeks. But when I saw that Kelly, like my favorite guitar player of all time, wanted somebody to sing, I figured, okay, yeah, I'll do a track with Kelly, if he'll have me,
Yeah.
And so I sent him a demo on one of the songs that he kind of put out, and then he called me a few days later and said, like, dude, forget it, we're starting a band, like this is too good, like we have to do more songs. And and then he brought in Jesse and recently Joseph, and somewhat recently Joseph, and then Chris is the newest guy, and I don't think he's joining us tonight, but and now we're just taking the world by tiny storm.
Yeah. So there's so is it like standard lineup, 2 guitars, bass, vocals, drums?
Yeah, that's the lineup. Jacob does a lot of it though, because he's like a wizard.
Yeah.
So a lot of the recording is Jacob and Kelly. Like a lot of the writing up to this point is too. So I got to give them a ton of props. Try not to cuss.
You can cuss all you want, man. I don't give a shit. That's what it's
I got to
for.
give them a ton of props.
There you go.
Because they are musical geniuses.
Yeah.
Jacob, like seriously incredible. Best singer I've ever been in a project with.
That's awesome. And yeah, I heard, the stuff that you've been sending me. If that's him on it, I was like, fuck, that's so cool. He's good, man. Yeah. Really good stuff.
Yeah, that's Jacob. He's a beast.
How to make a girl blush. But I mean, the demos that, or just like, rough ideas or whatever that Jesse's been sending have been killer. And then we got you guys on a couple songs that, are in the bag so far. So it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually made a trip down to Arkansas a couple weeks ago. I rented a car and drove down there for like 4 days and recorded at Kelly's house a couple songs. I think those are going to be on the thing released on the 16th.
Yeah.
No,
The EP.
no, they're not on the 3 song. They will be on the 5.
Oh, the 5-song one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you guys are doing, so like you said, you're doing a 5-song EP and you're also working on a full length at the same time.
Yeah.
Are those songs going to be kind of like rough demo versions that might make it to the album? Are they going to overlap in any way, or is it like a whole new set of like 10 songs or whatever it is?
Well, so so I wouldn't call them like rough demo versions or anything. They're like they're produced and mixed pretty well, but like we're gonna they're not like live drums on there, and it's we don't have, at least on this 3-song EP dropping on the 16th. Jesse and Joseph aren't on it yet, so we're gonna retrack it, or retrack most of it, with live drums with those guys, and then do a new batch of songs on top of that.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
Cool. So how did everything come together? So I know Kelly he was doing Cold. I keep wanting to say Corn for some reason, dude. But
Family Value Store.
Yeah, there you go.
Same
They're
producer.
all interlocked.
What was that?
They had the same producer early on too. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Was it Ross?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ross Robinson?
Ross got all those bands that just sounded weird,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So Slipknot and Corn and Cold and
Limp Bizkit.
yeah.
Stain.
Yeah, man. I mean, that
Pretty much, if you listen to rock music in like the early 2000s, he produced them most likely.
It's such a crazy thing because it just, that time of music was like, I think people were coming off of like the 90s kick where, everybody unfortunately was like just dying, like just kind of dropping like flies in there. I think there was this small portion of, what is anybody going to do anymore with when it comes to music. So it's kind of like this open door that made way for bands like Korn and Slipknot and stuff to kind of just come in and be like, well, I don't know where the fuck music's going, but I like this, and this is what we sound like, and this is what we're gonna do. So this is what we're doing, and that's it. And Ross kind of took that under his wing, a little bit, and was just like, I think I'm onto something in the sense where, I felt, I don't know what his thought process was, but I feel like at that time, working with previous bands and then starting to work with a bunch of these eclectic, different sounding bands that, a lot of them, I hate that they get lumped into the new metal thing, because for me, I mean, that wasn't, if you want to call new metal like a rap rock thing, you had Linkin Park and, I mean, a couple of other bands, Biscuit, Head PE, things like that. But for
Awesome
bands
guy.
like, yeah, man, for bands like Slipknot and Korn and Stain and all that came out of that time, there really wasn't, hip hop beats with rapping stuff. I mean, there was in some Slipknot stuff and some Korn stuff, but it wasn't just that where you had a full chunk of bars of rap measures and then clean vocals. It was just heavy screams, or Jonathan Davis doing his thing in his own weird style, and then Aaron was doing like his God sent vocals and whatever else. And
Stain wasn't even rappy at all, really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess some of the screams could be considered rap parts, like on the verses, or but like Cold wasn't really rappy, but they're all kind of in that new metal genre.
And I love Cold, man. I mean, I am an acoustic musician for the most part, and I had a metal band for like 10, 11 years, and we did a ton of stuff, but I pulled from those influences so much as like a vocalist and a writer and stuff. And when I heard, I had heard like the Cold stuff, all the hits, Stupid Girl and whatnot. And, but when I heard, I think it's Bleed with him and Aaron, I was like, dude, that's like one of my favorite songs. it got me through so much shit at the time. And that was kind of the moment where I was like, oh, dude, you can write heavy stuff, you can write middle of the road type of stuff, and then you can strip it down and write, a song like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool to see stuff like that, man. Like, well, heck, I mean, you brought up we talked about Slipknot and Stained, like Corey Taylor. I read an interview that he went back to Stone Sour because I think that was a project he had early on, I think, and then stopped when Slipknot started, and then but he brought that back because he saw Stained live and saw that they were able to do like the heavy stuff that they
really
did back in the day, and then they were able to do the more mellow stuff from like 14 Shades and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he thought, oh heck, I can do that too, know. And it's cool to see that, like we well, don't worry about it. But anyway, it's I like, I don't know. I like that you can blend the two.
Yeah, man. And not to shit on like the bands that are coming out today, because there's a lot of cool stuff, but I feel like for a period of time, I think from like 2010 till now, maybe a little earlier, there was kind of, or there has been this kind of lost in a cave kind of mentality with the music, where it's just like, I don't know where to go, so we're just gonna follow the guy that's got the torch at the front of the line, and and then that just keeps going, and everybody's trying to make their way out of this like dark cave. And I think it's starting to come back again with guys like you. And I mean, there's a ton of other bands that I'll hear on like Liquid Metal and Sirius XM or whatever else. Um, but I'm starting to realize that for the past 10 years, I think rock and metal and other genres were kind of in this dark negative space where nobody really knew where to go. And it felt like producers and labels were making the moves versus the musicians themselves making the moves, like they were in the 2000s, early 2000s and 90s, and even before that. It's like the 70s are kind of coming back again, and people are just going off and doing what they want because of platforms like this, where we don't have to be asking for permission to do a record or a podcast or whatever it is. So
yeah, definitely.
And I think it goes back kind of to what you're saying with the new metal thing. Like they lumped all these bands together because not they all. So you had the big ones that that came out of the time, like the Corns, the Slipknots, the Limp Bizkits, and all that stuff. And then the Stains, and they saw that they could have the crossover kind of success that Stain would have. And then there were so many copycats from there. Yeah. It all just became, that mess of, you're either, the rappy kind of head PE stuff that's not going to get a bunch of radio play, or you're the Stained copy, and then it just turned into, well, I'm not going to name like band names, but it turned into that 2010s kind of I don't know, just sludge of
coattail riders.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and just forgettable.
Rude, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean,
forgettable stuff, man. It's just like so much of it's forgettable. But luckily, hopefully now we're kind of turning the corner once like bands like for me, like bands like Periphery and stuff started doing their thing. It was like it opened up a new world for rock and metal to go, and I don't know, maybe it's coming back to that like nameless faceless copycat thing again, but at least for a while we had, I don't know, some new stuff.
I mean, I agree with you with that. I was actually talking to a friend of mine about Periphery, how they kind of came out of 2009 10ish era, and or they started to get popular during that time. And after a while, I mean, you have Spencer, who's a kick-ass dude and an amazing vocalist. I mean, they've asked that guy so many times, how do you do that? And he's like, I don't know. I just do. It's like a Michael Jackson thing. There's no lesson taking. It's just, I don't know. I could just do this. My chords are thinner than yours, I guess. I don't know what it is. But now you have a bunch of people, but you have a bunch of people that are, a bunch of bands that are now started in that genre, and I don't want to name them, but they've gotten rid of singers, and now they're all kind of trying to sound like Spencer with high vocals, and then their screams, and it's just like, dude, Periphery did it not to start a trend. They just did it,
Yeah.
and now all these guys are kind of starting to follow the suit.
And the funny thing is they all try to sound like Spencer and sound like Periphery now, but
Yeah.
Periphery keeps, I don't know, just maturing, and they still, you go like, oh man, all these bands sound just like them, the new Periphery drops, and it's like, oh, that's why they're the big one in that genre or subgenre, man. And I agree with Spencer, and I think like if you listen to the early stuff and listen to him live, like I'm not saying he wasn't good, but he definitely didn't have the control that he does now. So he took the time and like learned to use his voice throughout touring and those records. And like, so I don't know. I love it when people like, I don't know, learn lessons, are critical of themselves and try to better themselves. And he did, dude. He's flawless, man. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's
Everybody
really
loves the backstory.
really good, man. What was that?
I said everybody loves a comeback story.
Yeah, man, and to like, I mean, back to, like with the 2000s thing, there was bands that I feel. I mean, I guess that always happens in every movement, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on and so forth, and it'll always be a thing. But the 90s, 2000s, there was bands like Snot and Amen and Head PE and stuff that were really fucking cool, but they just never, they just never bit the hook or something. I mean, I don't know what it takes. We've all been in this industry for a long time, and I've studied it and seen it and been like, well, what does it take to get there? But I mean, I don't know. It's just sometimes, a spark catches the fire and you're done. And sometimes you can be there trying to light the shit all day and it doesn't work. Rain's hitting, wind's hitting,
Sometimes with some of those bands, like, I'm not calling anybody out. I'm not trying to air laundry, but it's all public info. Like bands like Head PE, they kind of got screwed on their deal and ended up not under a major label anymore. And then now, how they kind of changed. They came out with like Renegade and stuff.
Yeah.
They're actually like signed by a pro surfer now on an indie label. And you know what I mean? So like things like that happen. You're young, you want to be a rock star. They slide a deal across the counter to you and you dive on it and sign it.
Yeah.
Not very lucrative for you in the end, and that happens a lot, like a lot.
Well, I felt like it started happening a lot more with the 2000 era or the 2010s, when people started, getting screwed over the 360 deals, that all these labels were realizing that, we can't make our money off of YouTube sales anymore. I mean, there's no MTV anymore to hit, to make big music videos and put them on and somebody's going to watch it at 7:00 tonight. And people stop listening to radio. I mean, it's honestly weird to me and this is just my opinion, but if I'm in my car and my Bluetooth doesn't turn on and the radio's on, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, who was in my car? It's just a weird feeling. And I mean, growing up in the 90s, it was always on. The radio was always on.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not the phone, it's talk radio for me.
Yeah, podcasts and talk radio stuff. It's the same thing for me. I guess because I write a lot too, and I'm sure you guys might agree, but I can't listen to music when I'm in the writing stage because it's just I gravitate toward my favorite artist with whatever I'm doing, and I start realizing that I'm writing melodies like Dave Grohl would, because I'm in a Foo Fighters binge for the month. And I'm like, shit, I need to stop doing that because I already rewrote Everlong like 12 times in this recording session. So I just need to trash this whole thing and listen to talk radios.
Totally, dude. I just did that the other night. I sent the guys a song on our band page, and it was like I went back and listened to it, and I'm like, what was it? Oh, it sounded like Spiders from System of a Down.
Yeah.
Like, at the time, I was like feeling it, and then when I listened to it like the next day, I was like, "That's freaking Spiders from."
Was that slower one? That you
the sad one. It's a little different than Spiders, but it's so close that I was like, "Oh."
You know what, dude? I wish you hadn't said that, man, because I have a melody for that I really like.
Well, it is different. It's not the same notes or anything, but it's just got that groove that
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? The spiders are new. You know
It won't sound like System of a Down, man. I didn't really listen to those guys, so
There you go.
well, I didn't even. It doesn't sound just like it, but it was like, you know, when I listened to it again, like I think today, and you know, and I was like, damn.
I hate when that would happen, man. When you pick up a guitar and you start writing a riff, and then you're just like, it's fucking cool. Like, oh man, I can't wait to show the guys. And then you sit down with each other and you start kind of thinking like this sounds like something, but you don't want to be the first guy to say it because it's your riff. So you're defending it in your head, and then somebody
You're
else like that sounds familiar.
Yeah, you feel like you're trying to see if it'll slide through without anybody noticing.
That's the worst. I think that's the worst. Like, you can like your mom joke me left and right. You can, you know, whatever. Dude, you can say I'm the worst, like shittiest, what musician, singer, whatever. But if the minute somebody says that sounds familiar, it's the most detrimental comment, you know, that you can ever get from anybody. So that sounds like this or that or the other song. Or
dude, I had this song for my other band, and I had it like fully worked out, and I put a ton of time into it, man. Like, I thought it sounded sweet, and I played it for somebody, and he goes, "Oh, dude, that's not System, Kill Switch Engage song."
Yeah,
and I was like, "What Kill Switch Engage song? I don't listen." That was just not a band that I really cared for, man.
Yeah.
And they played it for me, and I was like, the rhythm is like exactly the same. And then I had to, dude. I was banking on that song too.
You know what song it is? Because I have the exact same story. Do you remember what song it is? From
Dude, I couldn't tell you. Let me see. What was one of the popular ones for them back in the day?
They had like the end of Heartache and My Curse and
well, I don't know, but I can tell you the rhythm was da 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 da.
Oh yeah. I know which one it was. I can't remember the name of that song. I wasn't a big
End of Heartache.
Okay, well that's the one.
Okay, so yeah, I said that one. But when I was growing up in school and stuff, Kill Switch was huge, but I wasn't into that like metalcore scene. I was really into just dark stuff, so like heavy stuff and real fast thrash shit, all the Slayer stuff. I mean, I was going back and revisiting the stuff from the 80s and everything else. And you know, I just Avenged Sevenfold and Kill Switch, not that they're in the same genre, but all those dudes, all the guys in my high school were getting involved with that, and I was going back and listening to Master of Puppets and Kill 'Em All and you know, all the Slayer stuff and whatever else. So I missed the train. But the same story, I'm writing this riff, and the song is called Novocaine, and the song starts off this down, and at the same time, I had written this riff 2 years before the first Kill Switch album that came out when Jesse Leach returned to the band after Howard Jones left. And they have a song that starts off with a slide down, down. It's the exact same notes, but just in a different order. And we recorded the song, we released it about 6 months after didn't even know that I didn't know that they had an album out. I didn't know this song existed. I didn't know they had made it a single and shot a fucking music video for it. And I'm playing it, and I'm playing our song for some friends. And they go, dude, hold on, pause it real quick. And they pull their phone out and they're like, listen to this. And I was like, who's that? And they're like, Kill Switch, man. I was like, dude, I swear to God. And to this day, I mean, nobody's brought it up. And it's probably a bad idea that I brought it up because people are going to go back and compare. But I'm saying it here in public forum that I did not rip that riff off.
Well,
they ripped me off. Just kidding.
I bet they stole it from you.
I bet they heard it somewhere on MySpace, and they're like, "These fuckers will never get famous." It's just
that's the rumor I'm spreading. I'm gonna spread that rumor.
There you go.
You start that band beef you were talking about, Jesse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's right.
It can make you famous nowadays. All you gotta do is like,
band beef,
make fun of Slipknot, and next thing you know, you're all over trending.
Are you guys cool with the dudes from Trapped at all?
I love their band. I don't know them personally or anything, but
okay.
I used to love Strong back in the day.
I won't say anything then.
I know that one song. No, hang on, no, that's a lie. I'm trying to remember the melody. Did they have one called Echo or Echoes or something?
I don't know, man. I never really listened to them.
Is that the
No.
one? You guys,
Um,
am I crazy? How did that go?
there's another
One that's
band.
really cool.
Yeah, there's another band that I feel sounded like them, and I can't remember the. Oh, man, I'd have to look it up. But they had a really cool song. It'll hit me in a little bit, but it sounded. I thought it was Trapped for years, and it was like Earshot or so, like one of those bands
Oh,
that
your
was.
shot was great.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it wasn't them. It was one of those bands around that time. I'll find it here in a second.
I can like see what Jacob's writing on this.
Oh, you can?
The guys are talking back and forth in our group band page.
Oh,
Not
can
us. We're not. We're talking about you. We're talking about you.
We're talking about how sexy you look, man. No, I'm just joking.
me or
Communicating
Jacob?
with the other two. Sorry.
All of the above. Sorry, that's tour humor. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
It's all good. It's gonna piss me off that I can't remember the name of that one band. But anyways,
Well, if it is Earshot, that's a great band.
Earshot
Yeah.
is super cool. Along with there was a band called Raw for a while that had
Dude,
some.
I love
really
Raw,
good shit.
bro.
It's still around,
Dude.
man.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm.
So I'm out in Houston, and there's a bar. Shout out to the BFE Rock Club, and also Scout Bar down in Galveston. But
Yeah.
they have a lot of bands come through there. Like Earshot and Raw and the Sick Puppies and whatnot. They'll have a lot of bands just pop up out of nowhere, and you're just like, holy shit, they're on a tour. That's so cool. They had Sepultura come through there a couple months ago at the BFE Rock Club, which is, it's a small venue. It's not, you picture Sepultura to go out and do, huge arenas or something, but which they totally can on festivals and whatever. But they're playing this no, I'm sorry, it was Cavalier Conspiracy. My bad.
Okay.
But so I'm seeing them live. No, it wasn't. I'm a jackass. It was Soulfly.
I was
Sorry.
gonna say, was it Soulfly?
The only reason because we're talking about those bands from that time. So it was Soulfly, and I'm seeing Soulfly live, and I'm a huge like Sepultura fan and just Max
Yeah,
Cavalera
Max.
fan. Yeah, dude. I mean, he's amazing, and I see him live, and it's cool that venues out here are still kind of booking those bands. So I believe that those guys are still touring. We're just talking about. So
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
They
man.
are.
So when do you guys plan on releasing all the stuff that's going on? Is there stuff that we can listen to already on Spotify or whatever it is?
Yes. Friendly Fire is our single that's on all the streaming services now. We've got the 3-song EP called Awakening on the 16th.
Okay. Of this
We
month.
got 5 songs coming later.
Sweet. Are you are you guys gonna be doing music videos and stuff for that?
We would like to at some point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about it lately.
Are you guys is it just kind of solo with a management? Are you guys backed by a label right now or anything like that?
It's just us,
No
baby.
label. Just us.
Joseph's managing us.
Yeah.
Oh,
Joseph hasn't said much this whole time.
Joseph is our manager.
Okay.
Say hi to our manager / bass player.
What's up, man?
Nothing much. How you doing?
Good.
Uh,
Are you
Joseph,
the brains behind the operation, basically?
Lack thereof.
Joseph, I thought we agreed that you wouldn't speak, so let's go back to that, okay?
Yeah.
You
do
just
that,
have to go along with whatever we say, Joseph.
You do that. That's Sunny in Philadelphia. Just throw him a beer bottle. Shut up, dog.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Joseph. I'm sure you have a lot of input.
He's a heavy drinker, so we try not to give him beer bottles.
Oh,
I mean,
cool, man.
I'm lying. I'm totally
my
lying.
kind of guy.
I mean, personally, I just feel that I have large shoes to fill because it was Jeremy from Cold that Kelly was wanting to work with in Dyquil. And
He was in for a second. I think he was actually gonna play the bass for a little while.
Yeah. but he has his own work and family keeping him busy, so
Yeah.
he ended up having to, you know, not. So he was asking for a bass player on his personal page, and I was like, dude, if you can't find anybody, I mean, I can do it. He was like, you want to? And I'm like, if you want me to. If
Yeah.
you're offering, he was like, I'm offering. I'm like, okay.
Cool.
So yeah, and he lives only like 4 hours from me. So if he needs me to track some bass in person, it's like, okay, I'll plan a weekend.
And you said so he's up in Arkansas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he lives northern Arkansas, like right on the Missouri border.
Yeah. Were all the Cole dudes from the same area, or is it kind of the same mashup where you guys were from different areas?
They were all from Jacksonville. Kelly was from Jacksonville, and I believe Joseph, aren't you the reason that Kelly lives in Arkansas now?
Yeah, I guess so. When he came and visited me, because I was his first custom guitar order, I'll leave that story for him. There was something with the intonation or the electrics, the pickups, but he decided to visit me personally to fix it himself. So him and his wife took a road trip up here to Oklahoma, and they decided to make a nice vacation out of it. So they went up to the Ozarks through Eureka Springs, and they just fell in love with the place. So yeah, I guess I am indirectly a reason.
By the way, Kelly makes guitars. I guess we should put that out there.
Oh, really? What's the company name?
KMFH Guitars.
I know the K stands for Kelly and the H stands for Hayes, but I'm not sure what the MF stands for.
Monday through Friday.
Mountain Frameworks.
Yeah.
So then so Jacob, you got involved with the band through his Facebook post, Kelly's Facebook post. Is that right? And then so Joseph, well, you've just kind of known him for a while.
Yeah, I've known him when he was starting to advertise his custom guitar ventures. I was like, okay, how does he feel about making a 7-string? Because that's what I like to play. I was like, yes, I am very interested. He said, yeah, I'll make a 7-string, and I had the money for one. So yeah, the rest is history from there.
Cool. That's awesome, man. And Jesse, you how are you connected to everybody? I'm just trying to like piece these puzzles together from, I know you guys are from different places.
Sure. So originally I'm from Florida, but I was living in Wisconsin years ago, and I was in a band called Dead End Asylum with my little brother as the singer and stuff. Anyway, long story short, Allele came into town and we opened for them. And
cool.
Some of my old bandmates from a band I was in Florida were on the Allele tour opening for them in this band called the Chaos Agent. So they needed they needed gas money like at a certain point of the show. They were like had a gap in the tour.
Yeah.
And they just hit me up and were like, bro, could you like book us a show in your town? And I was actively in a band. So I was like, yeah, man. So I set this whole thing up. They came up and played. I fanboyed all over Kelly Hayes from Cold because I'm like, oh my God, it's Kelly,
Yeah.
And we played a few shows and kind of became buddies with him. And
awesome.
My band broke up, and my buddy that was in my former bandmate that was in the band opening for Allele joined them as their drummer, and they fired their guitar player, or he quit. I don't know the whole story while they were on tour. And my band broke up, and I called him like complaining about it. I was like, bro, what the hell? Long story short, he's like, come down to Florida, try out for Allele. So I flew down there, and like bought a guitar down there and a rig down there, and just went to one of their practices. And me and Kelly wrote a song within like 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So then I think it was like the next day, they took me out to Chili's And Kelly messed with me. They were like, so did he make it or not? It was like a tryout. And
Yeah.
Kelly's like, sorry, man, you're just not good enough or something. You know, he freaked me out. And then he was like, I'm just kidding, man. Welcome aboard, you know. And then I joined Allele, and then we signed a distribution deal with us, like some, you know, Sony and some stuff. Did some cool things.
The real tryouts is at Chili's right now. Go ahead and start bringing the beers and the shots.
Yeah.
And, your hottest wings and fucking ribs. Yeah. Here we go.
It was buddy. Like that. It kind of was like that for real too. And yeah, so that was like 2012, I think.
Yeah.
You know? So and then I did a bunch of tours and whatever. Kelly ended up leaving the band. I stayed in Allele for like another year or two, a year and a half.
Yeah.
And with Lane Maverick replaced Kelly. He's the other original guitar player of Allele. He like came back. He was also one of the founding members of OTEP.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of a sudden I'm hanging out with all these dudes that are way better than me. And, you know, just trying to fit in. I'm trying to hang with them, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I met Kelly.
Man, I'm sure you're, you know, holding onto, you know, you're part of the chain, you know, as strong as everybody else. Cause you know, I know how it is to be in bands and to find the right person. I've always had this saying, and I don't, you know if I stole it from anybody, so I can't credit anybody. But you know, I've always said that there's people that you can be friends with, and there's people that you can be in bands with, and those people are not always one and the same, you know, because you can be best friends with people, and I've had best friends in my band, and a lot of them tend to be the worst bandmates. But then I've, you know, meet people for the first time at a, you know, wherever the place that it may be, at a show or something, and they end up being our drummer, and it's just like, damn, dude, I feel like I've known you for 20 years, and I just met you, you know, a week ago, and they become the best members of the band. Yeah.
I think touring too, you know, you gotta be able to, you know, you gotta be able to get along with the people, to live in a bus with them, you know. For like we one tour we went on in Allele, it was like 29 shows in 30 days or something, like one day off the whole tour, you know.
Wow.
And there was 8 of us in like a 36-foot bus or whatever, and it got a little trying at times, you know. People were arguing stupid arguments too, bro, like, who used my shampoo, or like some stupid junk like that. You
those
know,
things will piss you off on tour, man. Like it gets to the point where you're so void of privacy. So it's just like, you know, where's my fucking flip flop, dude? Oh
yeah.
Shit. I mean?
You said you swore to me that you would share that Taco Bell sauce packet with me.
Yeah.
We haven't eaten in 2 days. No, I'm just playing.
Dude, I mean, I remember watching this Slipknot documentary, and they were talking about during like the second album cycle on the Iowa tour, where, you know, they just weren't making very much money, so they, you know, owed bus companies and all this other shit, and they're just touring straight, you know, from one album to the next, from one tour to the next. And it's like, it got to the point where, you know, you have a 12-pack for 9 people on a bus plus crew, and everybody needs to share that 12-pack. And so you have to start learning that you're just going to hoard your beer every night and just drink on the weekend. So that way you have your own 12-pack, you know, and just things like that. And I was like, man, that's tough, dude, to make a 3-part band work like Chevelle and stuff like that. And then to make a 9, you know, part band, like, or, you know, a band like Skinner with just 7-8 people, you know?
Yeah. Slipknot's one of the hardest examples too, because there's so many of them, you know. I mean, it's just 9 dudes. It's crazy. I couldn't even imagine that.
Yeah.
We had 8 guys, but there was only 5 band members, you know. Some of them were, you know, drivers and road hands and whatever guitar techs.
Yeah, but they all become family too. So you start, you know, like,
they were literally, some of them were actually literally like related to us.
Yeah, because those are the easiest people to take out. Just your you know, your best friend's brother who's big as shit, and you're just like, you're gonna be head of security.
Carry my amp because I'm weak. I haven't eaten all week. No, I'm just kidding.
My kid.
We use the riders a lot too for that. Like, you can put on your rider, like, I need a bottle of whiskey and 2 large pizzas and a big thing of wings or whatever, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
we kind of ate off that a lot. So
Yeah. And only green M&Ms.
yeah, one bowl of all green M&Ms, please.
Yeah.
And a pack of condoms
Yeah.
with holes poked in them. No, I'm just joking. Bam, you're pregnant. No, I'm just kidding.
Because life on the road is boring enough. We need to have some kind of excitement.
Dude, the stuff you do on a bus, you know, riding around, it gets crazy. Like I snorted whiskey up my nose. We made a sign that said, show us your tits and we'll show you our.
Yeah.
And me and Lane were like holding it in the window. We got a lot of laughs. We didn't get the scene. No, it didn't work.
No laughs before or after?
During. Like every chick that saw it cracked up, you know what I mean? But like nobody actually went for it.
Yeah.
But it was part of it. Yeah. I was kind of glad too because Lane Mavericks got, you know, and I'm like, you know, so I was like, if we both had to yank him out at the same time, I'd have been like really embarrassed. She'd have been like, oh, he looks like a Ken doll.
Dude, you're talking about guitar necks, right?
Yes. Yes. Washburn versus Les Paul, you know what I mean?
There you go. Short scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long did you were playing in Allele for how long before that? Was there like a gap of like 5 years or something before this project took off? Before you got the call again?
Yeah. 7 years, I think.
Oh wow.
It was like I went through a real bad downward spiral. I ended up quitting Allele. Me and my girl broke up. I had just had a kid. So I spiraled out of control and like became bad for a while.
Yeah.
I came back to my senses and got better for a few years and then ended up running into Kelly again. And the last time I had talked to him on the phone, I was in like a real bad place. So he was like kind of stoked that I was doing better. And like Jacob had said before, he was talking about Dyquil, like he wasn't really sure if it was a band or just a giant collaboration of artists.
Yeah.
You know, that he liked and knew. So like he sent me this one song. I don't think I need to say the name of it or anything, but it was like a heavier song that he wrote that he wanted me to kind of scream over.
Okay.
And then I started being like, well, like because I can scream pretty good. So like I screamed on the verses and then I tried to like sing a chorus. And then like it just never took off, but I was actually hitting him up being like, you know, I'm not that good of a singer, man. Can we get Jacob to sing on this chorus? And then it turned from me trying to lay some heavy vocals to I just one day was like, man, can I just play guitar like in the band? Like, and maybe if Jacob wants me to scream in the background or something, you know what I mean? But like, because it's a lot less pressure on me to play guitar than it is to like, you know, record vocals. The vocals are hard. Even screams, they're hard to record and make sound good. So it's like it's easier for me to lay tracks and send them to him with guitar, you know. And Jacob's a million times better of a singer than me.
Yeah.
So that was kind of at that beginning when it wasn't really a band. It was just kind of like a project, you know. Or at least for me, that's how it was. Jacob had already, I think, done a bunch of songs with him already.
Did a couple, yeah. Before
Yeah. And then I just kind of asked him like, man, can I just play guitar in the band? And I think at first I was listed as like the bass player for a minute too on the website or something. I can't remember. I like read it one day and I was like, oh, I'd play the bass in there too. I don't care. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm down, you know? And dude, especially when he sent me some songs with Jacob singing on them. And I already know what Kelly can do. You know what I mean? But man, when I heard Jacob, I was like, whoa, it's like, I don't want to label Jacob with like other bands, like put that on him like that or anything. But like some of my favorite bands, he's similar to. He doesn't sound like anybody, but he's like, you know, the bands that like I really listen to, like there's a couple of them. I don't want to say their names because I don't want to do the thing in Jacob's head. But he blew me away, bro. Like I was like, holy shit. Like I kept listening to the song over and over again. I showed all my friends.
I feel the same, man. I'm right there with you because like when I heard the music, I was like, man, this is refreshing to hear something that's like there's a great vocalist. You know, the drums, like everything is tight and it works and it's not overproduced sounding. It's not like, you know, just rehashed shit. You know, it's good, it's new, it's fresh, it's like it's exciting stuff. So I'm super stoked to like hear the rest of it, and I'm super stoked for other people to hear it too. Um, because like, you know, just I think the theme of this whole episode is just kind of you know, making new chapters and you know, pushing the envelope a little bit, because I think people have forgotten to do that, you know, and it seems like all y'all stories together has kind of culminated to become that, to just like, okay, we've been through some shit, and now it's time to take all those experiences and memories and ideas and put them into new ground, like new territories. So
Yeah, and we're as far as I know, anyways, everybody in the band is pretty like-minded. You know, like the way they feel about things, and you know, like for instance, with Friendly Fire, when I heard that, I was like, holy shit, Jacob nailed everything I feel in one song, but he did it politer than I would have done it. You know what I mean? Like he was gentler about it. Like
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I'm not that great at like I have a potty mouth. You know what I mean? And
yeah, the same.
the way he did it, it was like non-offensive, but still got the point across, kind of, and like, hey, everybody, you're being a little ridiculous type, you know, thing. And I really love that about him. And the songs are. I would like the band. You know, that's why I'm excited about being in this band, is because I would literally like the band. If I heard it on the radio, I'd be like, oh my God, who is that? You know?
Yeah.
Dude, and I mean, exactly what you're saying, Jesse. I feel the same way, man. Because like, I don't want to make you guys feel old or anything, but like, I was growing up listening to, you know, Cold and Allele, and like Kelly, you know, when I was a kid, like he's definitely one of my favorite guitar players. Like even still in the band, like he's one of my favorite guitar players. And he, you know, Jesse and I've talked about this. He's not like virtuoso or anything like that. He's not like a Malmsteen or like a, you know, Guthrie Govan or anything like that. But he has a thing.
Leads all the time.
He has a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear it, it sounds like Kelly, and I like feel the stuff that he plays, and like the, you know, so coming into this, kind of like Joseph said, it was like when he's saying he's like filling big shoes, like for me to be in a project with somebody like Kelly, that when I was a kid, when I was in, you know, middle school and early high school, like that was, you know, one of my first favorite bands and one of my first favorite guitar players. And then when he left and started Allele, that became one of the bands that I really loved and looked up to, and so Jesse's a part of that too, you know. So I'm in a band with two guys that I looked up to when I was, you know, pretty young and like still forming my, you know, I was in my musical formative state or whatever.
Yeah. That was
So
always a fun time.
dude, like how you know, you can't ask for something cooler than to be in a band with, you know, with some of your favorites.
Heroes. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm sure that's like a super surreal moment where you sit there. It's kind of like the movie Rockstar. You're just, you know, wanting to be those guys all your life. That movie with Mark Wahlberg, and then you finally get the chance to. It's like, well, shit, man, come up stage. You know, let's see what you got. And now you're just like, dude, is this real? Like, I can imagine that's just such a surreal moment. And then, you know, when the tour start and you're on stage, like, you know, playing those songs, you're like, fucking shit. Like I'm up here. This is real.
You know, Jesse mentioned, and he told me before that he you know, he fanboyed over Kelly when they first met, and to the point where Kelly was like, dude, you got to cut it out. You're getting on my nerves.
Get off my nuts. That's what he said. Get off my nuts, bro.
Like I mean, that was his experience with him, and mine was similar. Like when Kelly called me, like he said, dude, like the songs are cool. Can I have your number and give you a call? When I got a phone call from Kelly Hayes, you know, saying like, dude, this is for real. We need to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one of those points in your life, man, that you go like, wow, we're really here, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
It finally happened. All the hard work and, you know, everything paid off to like this moment, you know?
Yeah, and even if it's not like a big deal, you know, like, oh, we're not like a huge band or anything, and we're not like, but like morally, you know, like more as a moral victory, man, like there's nothing cooler than like getting to call one of your, you know, one of your favorite, you know, most influential people or whatever, like a really close friend. You know?
Yeah, that's super cool. Um, yeah, man, I can't even imagine what that would be like. I mean, I'm a massive Slipknot fan and Pantera and stuff, and I can imagine that when Chad Gray joined Hell Yeah, it was the same thing. Like, you're Vinnie Paul, dude. Like, you know what I mean? This is not real. This is impossible. If I ever, and I loved Stone Sour, and I always thought like, when Jim left the band, it was like bittersweet, and not bittersweet in the sense that it sucked really bad because I was like, man, I love Stone Sour. Um, and I just when I found out that he was gone, I was like, man, that's so devastating, dude. Because he just there's nobody that writes. He's one of my favorite guitar players, and it became that way when they started releasing more albums, and I realized that there was just more to him than the heavy stuff, where he could do so much more, and he could be pretty and dark and disgusting and everything in between. And that's like his musical influences from the Beatles to the Bee Gees to everything else darker than that. And I found out he's gone, and I'm just like, shit. I wonder if I can get in touch with his manager and just set up a band with him. Like, I wonder if he's looking for a band because I would love to play with that guy. Just like be a whatever, dude. I'll play bass. Like, I'll be your guitar tech or fucking I don't care. Just like So I can imagine when it comes to that, and you're sitting there just like, I'm excited for the moment that you're on stage and you're just like kind of look over, and the dude that you've seen before live is just now you're on stage with him. That moment where you're waiting for Phil Anselmo to be like, hey, do you know the song Get Up on Stage? I think that's every musician's dream, as a vocalist, as a guitar player, as a drummer, just like, hey man, that guy, do you know it? Get up here, play it. And now you're standing there in front of people, if it's, 20 people or 100 people or 5,000 people, and you just look over and it's Kelly Hayes and Jesse Rush and all your dudes, and you're just like, man, it's fucking crazy. I couldn't even imagine.
I feel like that though. Like I feel like I'm one of these people, and maybe you guys do this, maybe you don't. Maybe I'm weird, but when you're like in your head, like you're in your car or you're at home by yourself, and you have a favorite song that you really like. Do you ever like imagine yourself like on stage playing whatever instrument you play and or singing or whatever?
Yeah.
Like in front of a huge crowd to that music. Well, like when I heard Friendly Fire, the final mix on it. Because I'd heard, obviously we're bouncing songs back and forth and whatever, how it is. But when I heard that, I was like in that mode in my head. Like I'm like on stage, like full daydream. Jacob's over here, Kelly's over this way or wherever, you know what I mean? I'm going to buck right here on this guitar part. I'm going to jump in the air, blah, 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 you know what I mean? The whole thing was going on, man. So like, I'm super honored to be in a band with him. Kelly's my brother, you know what I mean? So like, I'm honored to be in a band with him because he's a badass, but like, I've known him for quite a while. I can go to his house and just walk inside and like eat his food. And his dogs won't bite me. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
That's awesome, man. Yeah.
But I'm like with Jacob, I'm the one that's blown away because I'm like, dude, he's so good. He's good, man. And he produced a lot of the stuff you heard. He produced, you know what I mean?
That's awesome, man.
He mixes it and stuff at his house. And I'm pretty sure he wrote the drums, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, that's what you're talking about. You imagine you're playing whatever on stage in your car, dude. I'm always air drumming it.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beat the shit out of my steering wheel, dude. I mean,
my poor horn on the snare.
Dude, you just wait till you get to a red light.
And then I switch, like if I feel this moment on the drums more, for just that moment in the song, I'm the drummer now.
You're multi-instrumentalist, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, you wait till the red light hits so you can start the double pedals. You just put the car in park. You start the double pedal. You're just like, oh shit, this is a shorter light than I expected.
Yeah.
And then your GPS comes on and tells you got to turn in 1 mile, and it says it really slow and long so that it ruins like a quarter of the song.
Yeah.
The old GPS.
I mean, we're talking about, guitars and drums and vocals and stuff. But like Joseph, for real, the tracks that Kelly sent over that you guys did, man, you had some like really sick little licks in there that I hadn't, I wouldn't have thought of, man. It's like, oh, this is what a real bass player plays like. So I can't wait for people to hear that either.
That's cool.
Yeah, Joseph's a beast. I got to, when I went to Kelly's, I went right after Joseph went there, like a week later, or I think the next weekend. So I got to like comb through and listen to like everything Joseph did, and he's a straight up beast, and he's super humble. So he'll never admit that he's a beast, but the dude is a beast.
That's awesome, man. I love musicians like that. That's super cool. I wanted to ask, I have a couple friends that super disagree with me, but for whatever reason, I love being in the studio and creating a little more than I love playing live. They're neck and neck, but I love being in the studio and like listening to the songs come to life, and you have a riff or an idea or a melody, and then by the end of the song, you've already kind of finished it, and it's just adding the little nuances that it needs. And you go, fuck, man, we started off with this demo, and now it's just a completely different thing. I love that a lot. I feel like that's the time when you're making a baby, and then the rest of the stage is just you raising that kid,
Yeah.
But the making the baby time is the best part,
Yeah, I feel like they're two different monsters. So I love them both. The studio is definitely like magical, but and awesome. But also like I'm a bucker on stage. I'm airborne. I swing the guitar on my back and all that. Yeah. So stage has its place too. And a lot of people are like stage sick right now. Because they haven't been able to play shows because of COVID and all that.
Yeah.
And they're getting back out there now, and you hear a lot of artists talk about how it was just like so amazing last night to play, feel the energy of the, I don't know if it's magic or what it is, but there's a thing, I don't know how to describe it.
Like
when you walk out on stage. Yeah. It's like a drug kind of.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe it. It's like a drug. So when you walk out there and you're feeding off all that energy, and the harder you jump around and play or whatever, rock out, the harder they rock out. And it's like, you feel like you could just run and dive into the crowd and no one's going to drop you type of thing, and that's got its own, for me, that's right up there with the studio. They're like level for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Equal.
Oh yeah. I mean, I get you. Like I said, it's very much. What was that?
Go ahead. I was just saying, but the studio is where you create, especially nowadays. That's like the start of it all. That's like where you channel that whatever it is that makes people write songs. Because the studio is a magical thing too. Because it's like I don't sit down and go, okay, I'm gonna play the 3rd fret, then the 4th fret, and then hit this string, and then do a bend right here, and then I don't do that. I just like flow. I enter the flow state until I write, until something happens. I don't really write it. So that's a magical thing that the studio has too. So I don't know. I love them both.
I feel like, but the counter to that in my head is people singing your songs back to you live is just one of those, like, fuck,
that's the best feeling, dude. That's the best. Yeah. For me, the studio is, I feel like that's all I do outside of work. So maybe I'm like a little jaded by it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like I guess I'm a little different from Jesse in that it's not like a flow thing for me. I'm like super analytical and super critical when it comes to my tracking and my writing and stuff. And I drive myself crazy writing, and then tracking. I just do like 100 of the same takes over and over. Like I sat when I was doing vocals on a buddy's song, and I was like, no, that's not it. And I just did take after take after take. And he goes, dude, listen back. You've done the same take 50 times. And I listened back, and it was like the same take 50 times.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's like a stressful environment. I don't like, well, in musical, in the musical experience, I don't like the process of making the baby. I like seeing the baby when it's done.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I get that.
I just I dude, there's something magical about hearing that mix for the first time, or even if it's the demo mix, there's something magical about hearing it. But the process to me is more just nose to the grindstone than anything else.
Yeah.
But live, dude, there's nothing like live, man. There's nothing like hearing the mix, and there's nothing like playing a show, and it could be to like 20 people or whatever, you know. If there are people there that care, like it doesn't matter. And if it's thousands of people, that's even better. But like it's all that matters is getting that moment on a stage with your friends that you love, and you know, you just playing music with friends, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
The link that happens too, I think there's something spiritual, like soul based on stage. Like when you play, even at practice, when you play live with 4 other dudes, and you know, have you ever had a moment where like somebody screws up and the whole band fixes it just naturally? Like, you know, something happens where somebody pauses, like the drummer accidentally pauses for a second, and the whole band does it. Bah, 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 and they jump back in because it's like they just are like together in that like state, you know.
I remember being in band. I was a band geek in high school and shit like that, junior high. And that was the one thing. It was like if you mess up, don't make a face, don't move, don't twitch, don't, like, you just keep going. And I guess I held that for so long that and some of the other dudes I was in were you know, in band in high school, and I think we all kind of had that mentality. It was just like, oh, dude, drummer got off on an upbeat for whatever reason. We've played the song 1,000 times, but okay, let's keep playing. He'll fix it. And, you know, or I forgot the words. I started, you know, coming with the second verse on the beginning of the song. It's just like, fuck, I gotta sing the second verse twice.
My other band, we played the click, and everything's like synced up. Like our guitar patch changes and stuff are all synced up in the click with backing tracks. So we can't get off. Like if somebody screws up, we are toast.
Oh, dude.
That's
why I was always terrified of that, of trying to like come up with or trying to play the clicks, because I was like, dude, it makes you a better musician, but if you fuck up, dude, oh my God, like you're just like, well, there goes the outro part of the song, because it's gonna be 30 seconds off, and now we got to play the solo again twice, and you have to like do the math while you're on stage. I don't know how it is, but I would figure that you're just sitting there thinking, like, yelling out at each other, oh, what again, just fucking okay.
Luckily we haven't had.
It's not that complicated.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the drummer is the only one with the click usually.
Yeah.
Usually for us, we all get it.
Drummer.
We all get the click in mind.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude, because of the way like the Axapex is synced up for patch changes, dude, like we have got to be on it. If we get off, like the clean part, the chorus will be clean. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not happening. So we all have, even me when I'm singing, I've got that tick just blowing my eyeballs out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah, and Allele, we played to a click and ran backtracks, but it was our drummer had like full control. So like if somebody, like there's a few songs that he would try to hold the click down with the hi-hat, like so that when you start your guitar part, you know, with no drums, that you would stay on like the click, and he would dump it sometimes and all the backing tracks because somebody would start a little off time or something, and you'd have to reach over and, well, we're playing this song, we're just winging this one, you know.
There you go. Well, cool.
But this is back in the day when like patches weren't out yet. The stuff that Jacob stole, well, I might have been out, but I didn't have it. I had like the old, you know, I had the stomp boxes and the, you know, cabinet and all that.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I was just gonna say if I think, you know, we did a good amount of chunk of time here. I think we touched on anything. If there's anything that you guys want to reiterate before we go, or say one more thing.
I would like to mention Jacob's other band, State of Illusion.
Cool.
You guys should check them out because they are one of my favorite bands right now. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I just wanted to mention that. I don't think we mentioned that. So
yeah, sweet.
I would like to mention Joseph because he said so little.
Yeah. Joseph Wayne. Look him up on Facebook, everybody. Friend request him. Joseph Wayne. That's Josef.
He is the face of Dyquil.
There you go. So yeah,
Yes.
you guys want to shout out I guess your social media platforms if you want people to hook up with you on Instagram and Facebook and all that cool shit.
Yeah, look us up at Dyquil. We're on everything. Dyquil.
Dyquil. Where did the Dyquil come from? Is it like one of those nights?
Definitely something for Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly was in cold.
You motherfuckers. I didn't even put that together, dude.
That was not me, for the record. I just want the record to show.
We're all
name right there.
Fans. Yeah.
Oh my God. That is the fucking craziest pun I've ever heard in my life, dude. I swear, dude, if I see you guys in person and if it ever you stop by Houston or whatever and I watch you guys play, I need to shake Kelly's hand. If that's the reason why he came up with Dyquil was because he was in cold. That's the funniest shit I've ever heard. And that's the most clever band name ever, dude.
Yeah, and it's not a real beef. Like he still talks to everybody in cold. So there's no beef or anything. He just thought it would be funny to call the band Dyquil, you know?
That's fucking cool. Sorry. I'm just getting a big kick out of that. That's fucking hilarious. Oh my God.
Kelly. He's a silly man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, cool, guys. So, Dyquil on Instagram, Facebook, all that cool stuff.
That's what it is.
It's everywhere. It's on all streaming platforms. It's on everything. So you can pretty much find it anywhere. I think you can even Google it. It's even on TikTok. So.
Oh, really? You guys jumping on the TikTok train already? Yeah,
well, we're just trying to get it out there.
Well, you kind of have to.
Any and everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool, guys. Man, that's been fun. So can people listen to the EP just to reiterate right now?
Singles out now. October 16th is the EP.
What's the single called again?
The single is called Friendly Fire.
Friendly Fire.
The EP comes out October 16th, and it is called Awakening.
October 16th. And then a full-length album after that or
next year. Yeah.
Next year. Cool. All right. And so we'll be waiting on that.
We got a ton of songs.
Yeah. Do you guys write fast?
We got a ton of songs. Yeah. Yeah.
They
ideas, a lot. Kelly writes a lot of ideas. I think Kelly goes down to his studio like every single day and plays guitar for a while. So
holy shit, that's crazy.
I do the same thing. I'm in. Yeah, we get after it.
Sweet, man. All right, guys. Well, shit, that's cool. And I'll end it here, and then we'll talk a little bit more after, and just see what's up. But sweet, guys. Thank y'all very much. It's been fun. It's been cool. I'm just waiting.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for the audio to get to the right spot where I can outro. I need to cut stuff. But all right. Thank you guys very much.
Right,
and we'll end it here with the recordings.
Later, bro.
See ya.